But you guys, today's Tuesday. I don't know the date anymore. You know why I don't know the date? Because I haven't been on in like 2 weeks, which is like terrible. I'm Trisha Turner. This is Walk Away Wealthy. And we've had this podcast running for 3 years now. And I just like took a 2 week hiatus and disappeared. Didn't have a guest on, didn't have anything. And it's not because I didn't want to. It's the scheduling just didn't line up and we just couldn't make it happen. So after 2 weeks, we are back with two of my favorite people in the whole wide world. This is Josh and Emily Gustafson, and they are part of my family, of course, and they are part of the company, and they're killing it in real estate. Hi, y'all.
Hey.
Hey, Mama. Hey, Trisha.
So we're super excited. Number one, there's a lot going on our property today. So as a lot of you know, we run as a real estate company. We have a staging company. If you didn't know, we also have an event center called Hub 510 and Piggy's Place, which is where they are. And we're super excited because we've got a lot of like big things going on, not just in real estate, but in life. Number one, if you don't know the origin of Piggy's Place and Hub 510, Josh and Emily are the instigators of all of that because they had a baby almost a year ago, and her name is Victoria Grace. And we did her baby shower at this place that we now call Piggy's Place and Hub 510. And we, of course, came in, transformed it, added on, recreated it into what we thought was magical and beautiful to create everlasting memories, and named it Hub 510 because she was born May 10th. Which is coming up. Her 1 year anniversary is coming up. And then we named the bar Piggy's Place because the little piggy always has a bottle in her mouth, or did. And so all of this was created because Josh and Emily met, fell in love, had a baby, and God said, this is good. No, this is very good. And so I wanted them to come on today because we're about to come up to their 1 year milestone of being young and married in real estate and having a baby. Whoa, you guys, how the heck have y'all done it this past year? And y'all are still smiling.
Yeah, well, it's been a learning journey, that's for sure.
Well, what do you think was like some of your hardest things? Because I know like y'all were both brand new getting into real estate. If y'all don't know their roles, like Emily is director of public relations. She's a top producer here in our office. Josh is director of sales. They are like slayers on building relationships, and they run a huge division here, which is our Young Hustlers division, which is growing faster than anything and full of energy. How have you guys done some of this stuff?
Well, honestly, we have the best mentor in the world, which is you. And we love our training and everything that we're doing as ISAs. But when we were ISAs, it was like the best market ever. You know, everything was selling. The interest rates were 3%. And when we got in the game, the interest rates higher than more than they have in the history. Like, thanks a lot. And then we're also trying to just start our business and be known and be a resource to people, being educated for people. So at the beginning, I mean, we hit the ground running in like positivity, but there's a lot of really, really, really hard conversations. And I remember making calls and being like, trying to talk people into it. And they'd be like, no, the interest rates are too high. And it's like now they've kind of gone through the 4 stages of grief and they understand that this is where they're at. But at the beginning, it was like, you were ready to hit the ground running, and it was a lot harder than we thought, but there's a lot to smile about and there's a lot of opportunities out there. And I feel like being put in that market just made us so much more stronger, so much more optimistic. And it's taught us a bunch of different sides of real estate, the good and the bad. And then also just being like a helping hand for some people, because when they weren't ready at the beginning of the year, by the end of the year, they're like, okay, now I'm ready, you know? So that was a great thing.
You know, Trisha, though, you mentioned what's it like being in real estate? What's it like, you know, running a division and just being around a lot of people and then also having a baby? What's that like? So honestly, what we learned and what I learned myself is you got to have a schedule. Like you've got to have like time blocked out. Like you've got to have a time for this, a time for this, a time for that. Because if there's not organization within your day, you're going to be a disaster. Like you're going to be a complete train wreck. You're not going to get anything accomplished. You're going to be stressed out. You're not going to know what to do. And so in order to stay laser focused, like you've got to have time blocked off. You've got to be like laser focused on what you need to do and what you need to accomplish in that given moment and be present in that time. And so that's one thing that like we've learned and then we've been able to implement in our lives, and it's helped us out drastically.
And for you guys that are paying attention out there, like they were new to real estate, yes, but they were coming out of like roles. Like Emily had just gotten her license. And so Josh was running the sales division. And when you look at that, and not only that, but we were moving. So when Victoria was born, which was May 10th of last year, we moved, we bought a property in June, which was just 1 month later. And so they were in the transition. Of course, it's a family business of moving. We're packing up an office. We're moving to a completely different location where we have land. We're moving all the businesses there. And then let's launch an event center and a bar on top of all this because we don't have enough going on. And y'all were in the middle of all of that in growing the young hustlers and trying to figure out like life as you knew it because you're brand new parents, never doing this before. What do you think were some of your hardest parts with all of that transition last year?
You want to go first or me?
You go first.
So honestly, I think some of the hardest moments was figuring out how to work and also be a parent at the same time at first, because you want to be there for her development, and you want to be there for her life, and you want to be able to take best care of her, but also you have the stress of work and you have the stress of like, am I behind? Am I letting people down? Am I not doing the best that I should be doing? And so it really falls back into like time blocking, like getting organized, getting focused on what you need to be doing. And I think that's the hardest thing for me was time blocking, figuring out how to book out time on my calendar and book out time. Oh my goodness.
You're still here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. we can't see you. Oh my gosh. The screen turned away.
We thought we ruined it. We're like, where did it go?
You're still here. I'm like, what are you doing?
Disappeared the screen. But no, that's the hardest thing for me. Sorry about that, y'all. That's the hardest thing for me was like figuring out how to be a parent, but also work at the same time, especially throughout the first few months.
Honestly, okay, so I do believe it was really, really hard as well, just being there for Victoria and also like wanting to be the best you can be, wanting to hit the ground running. But a happy moment in that is that in the beginning when she was a little baby, when most people, they get their 4 months off maternity leave and then they have to send their baby off and go back to work and maybe they're not ready to do that. We never experienced that. Like we made a home for her in the office and we worked our butt off anytime she was sleeping. And of course that can be stressful and it's like, yes, she's sleeping. Like it's time to make calls. And they're like being rude. It's like, you don't know what I'm going through. But like that was just something like I was like, I'm gonna look back on this moment and I'm gonna smile because like the defeat is temporary, the overwhelmingness is temporary, and honestly, like the first 3 months I would say were like the most difficult just because she was like constant. After that, she's been an independent queen. She wanted to crawl around, she wanted to play, she wanted to do her own thing, and she's honestly one of the best babies ever. So I feel like God just blessed us with the perfect baby for everything that we're going through. Like.
And the prettiest.
The prettiest too. But she just like, I mean, she would like, one of the first things she learned is mommy was always on her laptop, banging on the laptop. So she wanted to bang on my laptop too. And I'm like, I think you're going to break it. It's so cute that, she's like inspired by us and she learns from us and she watches us. And what we want to do now. We have her in daycare, so now she's just playing all day long, which I know she appreciates so much, and it's been good for us too, because it's like when you drop her off at daycare, it's time to get the day going. It's time to make some money. It's a blessing to have that opportunity to go to work and get separate for a little bit, but also in the same way, it was such a blessing to be able to hold on to her until we were ready. So that's the bright side of everything.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there know it was implemented to us whenever Victoria came into our world, but we don't get to make the schedule anymore. We're on her schedule. So that was something new for us as new parents, where we didn't have a schedule. We were servicing her and being there for her and taking care of our daughter and trying to work in the middle of a fiasco of learning how to be a parent, learning how to be there for our daughter,
But it's also setting boundaries, because with even like not even just babies, but with people that you're working with, like what they're wanting is so important. What they're needing is so important, and you're in the service industry, so it's like balancing like clients, work time, baby. It was like okay, how do we set boundaries? Like, when's a good time to say no, you know? And that's something that we learned very early on, which I feel like most people, they'll just self-sacrifice themselves for 5 years and be like, this is not how I want to build my business. So we learned very head on. I mean, we had a lot of mentorship from you on how you think we should handle things and how we need to plan our days and stuff. And that helped immensely. And then the business model that we have with the brokerage also is great when we can focus on sellers and we have all the resources for homeowners, because sometimes when you have a baby, the best thing for you is not riding around in the car and showing buyers. Although in this market, you need to be taking everyone you can. But at the beginning, it's like, it was hard to get anyone to pull the trigger, and we learned that really, really fast. So you got to know exactly what they want. You got to be focused. You have a plan. You have to direct them, and not every showing and not every appointment is. It's like if you said you wanted no bedrooms upstairs, we can't look at that house. You know, it's setting those boundaries. It's saying, okay, well, if you're not ready to sell your home till 6 months because your kids need to stay at the same high school, maybe it's not the best thing to meet right now. Maybe I need to put you on a nurture plan. It's not just drop everything for the money. You know, it's, you got to think about the baby, you got to think about your family, you got to think about your health, you got to think about what's the best thing for you at this time. And then of course, keep people on a pipeline and stay with it.
And what a lot of people don't know too is that in the midst of all of that, having a baby born in May, us moving locations in June, the market also shifted in June. So what was running no longer was running. And so you guys were running a cash offer division, and that pretty much dried up by September. And it's like, yeah, no investors are wanting to buy anything right now. The market is too volatile. You guys had to learn to like pivot, shift. Okay, this isn't working anymore. What are we going to do to generate business? Especially now we've got a little baby to feed, and the market has continued to change. And we're now into April of 2023. And again, we're in a market that we've never seen before. And of course, you guys have never seen it before because y'all are brand new in real estate. So how has all of these months of just like a roller coaster ride in your personal life and in business, like how have y'all sustained? Because y'all are best friends. I see you together every day. I know how you live. Y'all are best friends and you're there to support each other. How do you maintain that?
Well, I'll tell you, I feel like we've been in real estate for like a decade with all the changes that we've seen. My gosh. Yeah, last year the cash offer division, it was great. We were running that up until like September, and then that kind of hit a roadblock and the market changed, and buyers, they didn't want to make any more offers. They were terminating deals left and right. So we pivoted, and I started making phone calls and trying to generate relationships and really just try to like help us any way we can. And Emily's out hustling, bustling, doing her thing. And I'm the back end of it, just trying to call people, build those relationships. And Emily's making those calls, and she's sacrificing, and she's setting those boundaries in place with clients. That way she's able to service everybody. And so really, I mean, it was just, it was a whirlwind, and just trying to figure out exactly what the right step to take is. And I think now we've kind of figured that out. And we're still trying to implement new things each and every day that are going to help us succeed in our future. That's for sure.
Yeah, something that keeps me going, especially working together, is I'm definitely inspired by Josh. Like he has strengths where I'm weak, and I feel like I'm working out those muscles, you know. And so I'm getting strong too. And then in other ways, I'm strong where he's weak. Like maybe I'm a little bit more patient, you know. But he's also like, he knows how to figure out what someone's goal is, and then how can I help them do that? So that's something that's big for me is like, what do you want? You know, like, what do you want? How can I make this happen for you? Where are you? How are we going to get there? Like, is this a good decision for you? It's like really like once you figure out what they want, you can run from there. And like asking those hard questions, asking for the appointments, asking those qualifying questions on the phone is something that I've learned from him, and it's helped us build our business 2 times because now we're both banging it out, and we're able to do like more than we ever have. But that's just something that I really do like about Josh is he is a very positive person. Like he really believes the world is oyster and nothing is going to stop him from getting what he wants. And then me, I'm like a little bit scared to ask what I want, but I'm on the optimist side. So just to like balance that out with each other and the strengths, it's like we definitely want to go to work every day. I mean, we do struggle with like sometimes we'll get in squirrel mode where we'll have so much going on and then we don't even talk to each other. Just like, did you do this? Did you do this? Like it's like, okay, wait, hold on. Let's like stop picking on each other. Like it's okay. Like we're a little bit stressed right now, but everything's gonna be done by the end of the day. Like instead of being like, did you do this? I'm on it. Okay. So that's like been something we've had to work on. But just like honestly, like when you look over and you see him hustling, it's like, how can you stop? You know, you got to keep the train going. And that's been like a really good thing for us. And also just being patient with each other and understanding that it's just a lot to handle, and people are a lot to handle. It's a lot of emotions to navigate, but you figure out what they want and you get them there, then everything's going to be cool. You just got to realize where everyone is and meet them where they're at and service them.
You know, I'll say one last thing on that note. I'd say how we pivoted, right? How we figured out right things to do. Determination. That's pretty much it. Is just, you know, when things change, you've got to adapt with it or you're going to be left behind, you know, and when the train leaves the station, are you on the train or are you not on the train? Are you still stuck at the station? So I think it's just our willingness to adapt with what's going on around us, our willingness to learn, our willingness to listen, and being able to pursue a more abundant life and pursue different things that we may not know, but we're willing enough to learn. We're willing enough to go in and have the grit that it takes to learn what we need to succeed. And so I think determination really is something that we're good at.
Yeah. Another thing, because I also think there's something that I've realized this recently, but it's just gratitude, like knowing that maybe you're not where you want to be yet, but to be able to sit down and say, you know what, I'm grateful that I still have people to call. I'm grateful that I still have people that want to hear from me and want to work with me and trust me. And you know what, maybe they're not all going to the closing table tomorrow, but I'm happy that I have something that I can fall back on. I'm happy that I have people that know who we are and trust us and want to support us in our business and our family. And I'm grateful that I get to spend every single day with my husband rather than us go work two separate jobs and come home, be baby like masters and then put her to bed. And then we get like 2 minutes together before we pass out, you know, like those are things to be grateful for. So even though it's hard, and even though it's a lot of work and it might take more time than we initially thought, it's definitely worth it all the way around any way you slice it. And I think that that's something that I've been practicing more, is just being grateful for people, you know, and being in your life and supporting your business, and then being able to be around your family every day is a big one for me.
For me, I watch you guys all the time. I'm always paying attention. And for you guys out there, we have core values that we live by in our company and in our lives. And it's the acronym CARES. And one is coachable, and A is for accountable, R is for relentless, E is for enthusiastic, and S is for self-discipline. Josh and Emily embody all of that. And when you listen to where they said they're learning, they're always learning. I've watched them, especially Josh, Emily too. They're both insane. But Josh especially has like determined what he wants his life to look like, and he sees it, and it's attainable, and he's taking the steps to create that life on purpose, whereas most people, including myself, never really figure out like what do I want it to look like. And a lot of times people don't, they just go through the motions every day, and whether they're happy or whether they're not, they never really get to that life on purpose. And I'm watching you guys, I hear you talking about it, I watch you guys, and I love that you see it like this is what you want it to look like for y'all. 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, and 10 years, you know. And I think that's amazing. And then you hold each other accountable. Like Emily's not afraid to call you out, Josh, if you're not doing what you said you were going to do, and vice versa. And you're both there. Like if one of you is stressed out and Victoria's having a bad day, the other person, it carries her around more and tends to her more. And y'all are there to be there for each other and support your family as a unit and not against each other. It's not, well, you said you were going to do this, and you said, it's like, okay, well, you're in a bad mood right now, or you're tired right now, I'm going to pick up the slack. That's how you're supposed to function in a team and a family and a unit together. And when you look at like relentless, you guys are on the phones relentlessly. And it's not that you're on the phones badgering people. You're on the phones, like Josh said, building relationships. Emily had a major win yesterday from just building a relationship with a salesperson that's turned into something that will be amazingly beautiful for your family. And that only came about because number one, you were kind. Number two, you were relentless. And number three, you cared about them as a person. And the transaction like it didn't even come to fruition. There wasn't a transaction. You just became friends because that's what y'all do. Y'all build relationships. And I want to touch on that because there's so many people like you guys in your age range, the young hustlers that don't seem to really grasp that building the relationship thing. And I'm not really sure that they really know where they're going and where their life is going to be in 5 years, but y'all do. How do you think that's come like so crystal clear for y'all?
I think just over learning and listening to the people that we want to become, and listening, being around people that inspire us, that motivate us, being with top producers, being with owners of companies that we look up to and that we want to learn from, and we want to see what they do on a day-to-day basis. And so whenever you see and listen to them, they build relationships, whether they're in sales, whether they're in a service industry, doesn't matter the industry. They are in the business of building relationships. And the more people that you know, the more successful that you're going to be, the more services you're able to provide to those people, the more you're able to help out. And so really it comes from a place of, I just want to provide as much as I can and facilitate as much as I can to anybody I can. And it's point blank period at that is, if there's somebody out there that's willing enough to talk to me and listen to me, and they're willing enough to have a relationship with me, then I'm so happy to have that new relationship and spark up and learn from him, and he can learn from me, or she can learn from me, and I can learn from her. And, because it's like you always say, you're always better together. And so two brains are always better than one, and four eyes are better than one. They see more, they hear more, they learn more. So I think it's just about bringing as much value to the marketplace as you can and providing as much as you can to as many as you can. That would be my response.
That's a great response.
I love that.
Yeah. I feel like, especially like, I guess people our age, they think everything's going to be immediate. They see real estate, they think fast checks, fast money, like go, transaction based, but really it's a people based industry. And when you look at the people that are selling like millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate, like $100 million worth, like you, like literally, like what you're doing every day, it might not look, I think Bill Pipe said this, but it might not look sexy. You know what I mean? Like if it's not like just videographies and new construction and showing homes and writing contracts every day. I mean, it can be, but really, I mean, things happen every single day. Nothing's predictable. No transaction that I've ever closed has been easy, and all of it's been like a learning experience, and it's made me stronger as a person. So when these things do come up, it's like muscle memory, like, oh, this is what you do in this situation. But it's not till you get in the mud that you actually learn these things. And when you look at the people that are actually doing successful things, they're showing up every single day. They're waking up early, they're working out, they're being there for people, they're working overtime, like they're working more than 8 hours a day, and they're working weekends. Like it doesn't stop. The grind doesn't stop. But you know what? Whenever you get paid from all the work that you've done, it literally is a reflection of how much work you've done, So, and that's something that I love about, especially we've had a lot of young people come on our team, and I'm honestly really proud. I feel like it's just been God, because we've just been bringing in a lot of like-minded people that want to make calls, want to show up, want to sell homes, want to provide for their family. Like, and there's a bunch of them on our team that have like honestly impressed me so much. They show up, they learn, like they understand. I think there's a willingness. And the same way, like I guess young people can be naive. In the same way, when you're young, they have a willingness to learn. Like they're still able to be molded and shaped into what like they should be. And I'm really thankful that we have those kind of people on our team, on the division. And I'm glad that me and Josh are together, because we've come to the realization that, hey, like we have to be leaders now, like we have to be leaders now. Like you got to pull people up from where they are. And some people are but maybe behind you. And that's our goal. It's like, we want people to show up, and, if they do show up, they're going to learn a lot more than if they just think that they know everything, or they stay home in fear. It's like, we can't live like that anymore. And I'm glad that we've come to the realization that we have to step up as an example, because it's only going to like like what is it, amplify our business even more, which it's like, okay, great. Like, I love this accountability. It's just going to make us better. It's nothing to be afraid of. And I think that once you get in the motions of those things, like you do every single day, it's less scary. And then when you go to bed at night and you have everything done, you have this feeling of just like gratitude, and you feel good about yourself. And I think that that's a big thing. Like, I want to go to bed every single day and be like, I did that. Like, I'm happy today was good. And then maybe in the next coming weeks and the next coming months, when everything comes to fruition, that was great. Like, let's do it again. Like, that's the things that keeps the ball rolling, keeps the train moving. And I'm excited to see that play into the lives of everyone that's on our team and all the young people that we're bringing on, because once they realize that, it's never going to stop.
I was going to say one more thing. I think one thing that we lack in today's world a lot is authenticity. I think people have lost the authenticity within the relationships, within their persona that they put out, right? And so I think a lot, you can associate it with young people, you can associate it with older people, you can associate it with humans. I think authenticity is something that we lack a lot in this world. And so back to building relationships, I think when you treat people the way that you want to be treated, and I think whenever you wake up every day and you bring as much value to the marketplace as you can, and you try to provide the best service that you can, you try to provide the most that you can to as many people as you can, I think that will stand the test of time. I think over time, you may see shortcomings of success, right? The salesperson that's good at selling, but ultimately going to build a reputation of him being a salesperson. He's not going to get the SOI of their family. He's not going to get the downline of the people that they know. And he's not going to make an influence on anybody because he's a salesperson. So I think what it comes from is be authentic, just be who you are and try to provide the most that you can. Be an uplifting, positive person and just try to help people and be there for people, because at the end of the day, people are going to like you or they're not going to like you, and you can't change anything about that. You just have to accept it and love who you are as a person, but be authentic when you're doing it. And I think that's one thing that people lack, because they just have this short-term goal, or they have this quick goal of, I'm going to do this and it's going to turn into this. And they've lost authenticity along the way.
Yeah, I love that. And, with the real estate industry changing as a whole, and sales volume is down 30% in most areas, and don't know what this year is going to look like. You guys have really poured into the group. And for you guys that are paying attention out there, Josh and Emily run the Young Hustlers division, which for us is people basically 20 to 30 years old. And they're out there. Number one, real estate is a super hard industry to be successful in, and to be basically like your own boss. If no one's going to make you get up in the mornings, no one's going to make you show up here and work. No one's going to make you make the calls. But when you get around that kind of environment that you're fueled up and you're celebrating all your wins, we're better together. And we believe that. We believe that we're better together. That is our vision. That is our mission. We build better lives by building better agents. For you guys, when we've watched now, the Young Hustler division is growing, and it's pretty much become a main focus of the company because you guys have such good energy and such good camaraderie. What do you think is that foundation there that's pulling it together and it's such a draw?
I would say just being willing enough to humble yourself, being willing enough to listen, being willing enough to learn, just having the pursuit of happiness, being on a pursuit of happiness. And so, because everybody's happiness looks different, my happiness may be different than somebody in the group, right? But at the end of the day, we're both on the pursuit to chasing that happiness. We're both willing enough to do what it takes to get there. We're both willing enough to learn what we need to learn to get there. And it's kind of like Emily was saying is, you're young enough and not caught up in your ways, and you're just being your authentic self, and you just want to learn. You just kind of humble yourself, and hey, what's the best strategy to use? What are you doing to make these calls? What are you doing to present to homeowners? What are and just being open-minded and curious, like a curious cat. And so I would say we've surrounded ourselves with some like-minded people. I would say just being driven to always be searching for new relationships and always try to bring as much value to people as you can, because when you're doing that, then you're going to be surrounded by people that you're like-minded with, and you're going to learn from them, and you're both going to become high achievers together. rather than just being this Joe Blow independent solo Joe that doesn't ultimately amount to anything and doesn't learn anything. I think that's one thing that we implement within the group big time.
Yeah, definitely. I think honestly, like the best answer I can give to that is I'm having fun. Like
I like that.
I'm having fun. I love what I do. And anybody that is young in real estate, like this is from my soul. Like I used to be scared. I used to be overwhelmed by fear. I used to be like, am I ever gonna make money? Am I ever gonna see it in fruition? Like this is hard, but you gotta keep going and you gotta surround yourself by people that are doing what you want to do, because how else are you gonna get there unless you're putting yourself around those people? And then when you get around those people, it's contagious. It's like, dang, they got another home under contract. Like this person's everywhere, but you don't see the background, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, everything that was going on. And for me, it's like to be in a place where I love what I do and I feel confident. I feel good. I know I'm a good resource. I'm like, send me your auntie. I'll take good care of her, you know? And so now it's like when you get younger people around you that are nervous of making calls, like, it's like, I can keep their energy up, and because I've been there. You have to keep your own energy up, and so it's like I fill into people. It's like, oh, you got hung up on, call them again, say we got disconnected. You know, like make it fun, make it funny. Like not everyone's gonna receive you well. Not every day is gonna be a win, but you're definitely gonna learn something. And when you can call somebody and you have energy and you're full of hope and you're full of life, like that's a light that people are attracted to. They don't want to work with somebody that hates their job. Like so, you just have to know that what you're doing is fun and there's a lot of blessings and opportunities in it. And I don't think there's no other job that I'm ever going to do. I'm going to do real estate till I die. Like literally, like I love this. Like I'm so happy that I'm here. And like, there's people that I meet, they're like, I want to be a real estate agent when I grow up. But I'm like, I wish I knew that sooner, you know? So it's like, if you think that and you have that in your heart, then you go for that dream and you don't let anyone kill you and you make it fun, because that's the only way you're going to survive in this industry, because it's a hard industry and every industry is hard. But if you love what you're doing, then it's fun. And being around younger people is fun to me. Being around people that like working and enjoy working is fun to me. It's like, I like hearing, like, one of our people on our team, he made a call and he got a listing appointment. And so I can't hear what's on that end of the call, but like, he's a pretty calm guy. And next thing you know, he's like, yes. Yeah, you know, like wins every day. And so I love seeing people get filled with energy, even if they're not winning, even if they can just have fun and just doing the job, you know?
Yeah, I love that.
One thing, and to say something on calls, because I know somebody out there is not making the calls that they should be making. And I know that there's more calls to be made. So I want everybody to understand the worst call that you could make is the call not made. That's the worst call. So just for anybody out there that's not making their calls and not fulfilling their purpose.
Like, don't say that. We can call their leads.
The worst call out there is the call not made. So pick up the phone and start dialing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool that you say that, because that leads us right into like our last little segment of the show. And that is, we always like to end the show with like some pro tips. So as we're moving into this weird real estate market that we're in right now, and it's pretty unpredictable, and this is April 2023, and it's acting like it could be like September 2023. What would you tell young hustlers out there, people that are thinking about getting into real estate, people that are thinking they can't make it in real estate and they're thinking about getting out? Josh, give us a couple of tips, and Emily, you as well. Or Emily, you go first, actually. A couple of tips on what you would tell somebody.
So here is I'm only going to give one tip because I want it to be like cemented. So put yourself around a mentor that pays attention to what's going on, that educates you on what's going on, that points you to the exact right people. There is no better person to learn from than somebody that's been doing this for a long time. And that's Trisha Turner for me. Not go anywhere else. Like that is a big thing, is because this is a crazy market. And if your broker is acting like it's all daisies and just keep carrying on, you're not guiding your people right. You got to know somebody that knows the market, that's lived through these markets, that studies the market and shares every single bit of knowledge and information, because I'm a sponge. So I learn a lot. And I feel like in the world of real estate. Maybe I've only been in it for a little bit, but I have like years and years worth of knowledge, and that's something that you can't take away from me. So if you feel like you don't know enough, or you don't know what's going on in the market, or you can't accurately talk about the market or what's going on, then you need a better mentor, and you need to get somewhere where you're going to be successful. And that's what I want to say, because I would not be who I am without you and without you. And I credit where it's due. So that's
You're an amazing learner. You like regurgitate everything that you learn correctly. It's awesome.
Yay.
Very sweet of you. I will say, look, the sponge never runs dry, but
the sponge is filled.
But on that note, though, I encourage everybody, like if you're young out there and you're hustling and you've got the grit and determination to learn more and be more and do more, then you got to come be a part of what we're doing here. You got to come be a part of the Young Hustlers group. You got to come be a part of the Trisha Turner Properties group. You got to be around like-minded people, because that's what's going to fuel your soul. That's what's going to put gasoline in the tank to keep going and go that extra mile and take that next step forward. So I would encourage everybody, reach out to us, reach out to Trisha, reach out to me, reach out to Emily. You can find us on social media, because at the end of the day, you're going to be the average of the people that you surround yourself with. So at the end of the day, you've got to look around and say, hey, am I around the people that I want to become? Am I around the people that are doing the things that I want to be doing? And if not, then maybe I need to reevaluate and take a step back and maybe go a different direction. So I think that's something that I wanted to throw out there. And then I want everybody also to understand that there's only 24 hours in the day. There's 7 days a week. So like you were saying, the market changes, and it changes overnight, can change next week. It could change tomorrow. So you've got 24 hours in the day. What are you doing with your 24 hours that you were given today? And so you don't have the 24 hours tomorrow. You can't plan the 24 hours next Wednesday, but you can plan your 24 hours today. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of the 24 hours that they have.
I love that. I'm going to also bring up like a closing thing. So we go to Lakewood Church, for people that don't know. We do, and Josh and Emily are religiously there every Sunday with Victoria. And the sermon from just this last Sunday, and I actually listened to it again yesterday. But it was like focusing on, and Emily, you've been talking about this too, focusing on like, it doesn't have to be a huge win, even just the little wins. Because like it says in the Bible, when God created the world, like he said, this is good. But then he got to, this is very good. But he celebrated even when it was just good. And it's like, yeah, we're in a tough market right now, but this is good. And we're going to continue working every day. And we're going to continue building every day and pouring into people and doing everything we can to live in abundance. Because at the end of the day, and by the time we're done, this is all going to be very good, for sure.
Yes, that is amen, for sure.
Definitely agree with that. Couldn't agree more.
Y'all, I'm so happy that y'all are on the show. And number one, if y'all haven't paid attention to them on social media, you need to. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're everywhere. They have the best energy out there. You need to be around people with good energy. You need to be around people that are going to lift you up, encourage you, inspire you, and motivate you to get out there and do more and be more. Josh and Emily do that. They edify professionalism. They edify loyalty and support and thinking big and dreaming big. And I absolutely love you guys.
Oh, we love you.
And we love you. Thank you so much for having us.
We
This
can
is
just
awesome.
talk forever. We don't have to end it.
I know.
I think this is
You guys have an awesome day out there. Make sure and follow Josh and Emily on Instagram, Facebook, and everything on the sun. And y'all make sure that, remember, we're better together. So if y'all need help in real estate, we got you. Look us up. Come see us.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.